Now, earlier on in the first part of the show, you were trying to explain the migratory pattern of the bats. You know, in Lagos here, we have colonies of bats. I hope Lagosians will not start looking at those bats as suspicious carriers of this Ebola. What do you like to say about that?
These bats are, like I said, the fruit bats. I won't want to go into the
details,
the names,
yes,
the species, and all that. And they have a pattern of migration, and it's actually been found that they can travel long distances. In fact, some people tried to track it, and they found that they could actually make a journey of like about 3,000 kilometers.
3,000 kilometers?
Yes. Could make a journey of about 3,000 kilometers. But I must point out that what the bats are the reservoirs that are like the
carriers.
No carriers. There's no carrier state, remember.
So
reservoir
they're like incubators.
That's the layman's way of putting that. They are where those viruses do not do anything to the bats, but they're just there, and it's from there that it comes out to get into circulation. That's what it is. So I've explained it from the bats to the primates and the other wild animals, and then to humans. So I don't think we should go preoccupying ourselves with the bats. Remember, I didn't say it comes from the bite of a bat. Okay? And but then we shouldn't eat just any wild bushmeat that we see. Because some people, the fruit bat is actually a delicacy in some areas. Yes, it's a delicacy. So you can see how easily it can get the virus into circulation if people
are not just careful enough.
Yes. So for the bats, my idea of bats is that they're tiny things. At least the kind of bats I see around here will be tiny things. But really, one thing with some of those animals like bats and stuff is that we do not really know what they carry that we are yet to find out. So it's always very important to deal with them carefully. Remember, the Ebola is actually one of the things we call emerging diseases. Emerging diseases as against re-emerging diseases. Emerging diseases being diseases that were not there, like, say, around 1975. That's now started coming into public health relevance. So we don't know what we'll still find out in bats, say, in
20 years down.
2018, 2019, 2020. So what's my point? My point is that we should at all times be careful how we protect ourselves from such things, but not to create panic as in, oh, there are bats somewhere in Lagos, so we shouldn't know.
So go after them.
Go after them, no.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Now, that is reassuring. Now, what I'd like to know from you again, that what more reassurances can we get from the way public health issues or matters or policies, are being put together in our environment? Are we doing it? Do we have the right approach?
Unfortunately, I will say no, because public health, if you look at it, what is health? I think that's a good place to start. And we do know that health is a state of complete physical, mental, psychological well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. And immediately what that should bring to our mind, especially when we now talk about the health of the public, is it goes outside the confines of the hospital. It goes outside the confines of the teaching hospitals, the clinics, and the health posts. Good water supply is health. Good road is health. Good schools is health. Girl-child education is health. So we can go on and on. And I think that we as a nation have disconnected. We must provide good water to control things like cholera.
1 second. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
I want to talk about this virus. You are talking about.
Okay. 1 second, ma'am. Can you do us a favor? Can you lower the volume of your TV set, or just cut the volume so that Tochi can speak with you? Otherwise, she will not be able to hear you clearly.
Are you not hearing me now?
Well, but okay, thank you very much. Thank you for cutting it down. All right, okay, Tochi, she wants to know, what is this Ebola virus?
I have talked about this Ebola virus, right?
Yes.
I want to find out, they said the expected one item to the market. If you want to buy the market, you have to watch the item well. I want to know what kind of item items to the market.
Okay, oh yeah.
And it's not affected because, Nigeria consume a lot in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So we need to know all those items.
All right, thank
We
you.
know what you do.
Okay, thank you.
I want to read number 2. I want to know why the virus is real in Nigeria.
If it's new or if it's real.
The virus.
If it is new or if it is real.
It is only in Nigeria.
Okay, all right. She will answer your questions. Just give her some time now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. Unfortunately, we didn't get your name. The things you buy from the markets, you should wash all the time. Because aside from Ebola, a simple diarrhea could kill you. So it's actually standard hygienic practice that you wash your hands all the time, and then when you go to the market to buy things like fruits and vegetables and even your canned products, you should wash them. For just trying to make a connection to the viruses we are speaking about. The urine of rats, some of these canned things we'll buy stay in the warehouses
for months.
For a very long time, for months and all that, and our markets are full of rats. So you should constantly wash everything you
buy from
the market. Not necessarily because of Ebola, but because you're generally aware that you need to protect your health. Then for the other question, you said, has Ebola come into Nigeria, right?
Yes.
There is no record that Ebola, at least this current outbreak, that Ebola has come into Nigeria. But there has been discussions about trans-border crossings, about people that have been infected coming into the country. And I do believe that there must be some kind of surveillance going on to see when and if that happens. But to the best of my knowledge, right now, there hasn't been any report of Ebola virus in Nigeria.
Well, maybe just to reassure her, but any report of any other virus of any kind?
There was some report of dengue.
That was dengue fever?
Dengue fever.
Yes.
Yes, which is another kind of virus, but not as lethal as this, and most people would recover, and most people will have the mild version of it, the mild version of dengue. And most importantly, dengue is transmitted by the bite of a mosquito, the Aedes aegypti. So the things you do to protect yourself are different from the things you do to protect yourself from Ebola. In fact, some public health aspect of what you do, which is going to educate people about vector control and all that, actually involves you, public health people, community health workers, even medical students going to homes to educate people on vector control, yes, as against putting a barrier between you and the people. So in terms of the protection, it's different. It's vector-borne. Anything you do to protect yourself against mosquitoes are the things you need to do to protect yourself from the dengue.
Fever.
Yeah, fever.
Okay, all right, but we have another caller that says, if the meat is properly boiled, would you still be infected? Felicia from Aja.
I had mentioned that all animal products, you should cook them properly before you eat them. But I personally do not think this is the time for us to go partying with bushmeats. Yes.
I think Tochi he just has something about bushmeat. I don't understand, but I'm yet to be convinced. She's saying that this is certainly not the time to go and party with your porcupines and all those. But Tochi, seriously, yeah. Now, I mean, let's be serious now. If you handle the meat properly, if you cook, if you boil, if you do all the things that we normally do, you still think it still can be susceptible?
There's no reason why you shouldn't eat your meat after you've met all the
conditions.
All the conditions. I possibly can't tell you what to eat or what not to eat. So if people do eat it, it's actually what we do in this country. We eat bushmeat. So as long as people protect themselves while they are cooking and processing, and then they cook it properly,
then
once they're able to assure that
there's
nothing,
okay.
It's as long as it's properly cooked and boiled and it's total and thorough, I really don't see how
That will get out of
that will get out.
Yes.
But remember, it's in the processing, it's in the killing.
Cleaning.
But please, I also want to say that there is no evidence that Ebola is in the country now.
Yes,
so all these things are hypothetical, because in matters like this, you're very, very careful.
So that we don't create
create public panic and all sorts of rumors.
Okay.
Yes.
Now she has reassured us the Ebola virus is not here yet, but she's saying these are standard, basic, hygienic practice. I mean, you want to stay well, stay healthy, and eat healthy. That's what she's just saying. Now, but prevention, besides what you have just said about hygiene, so what other things can we do? I mean, I think you raised an issue that is not commendable for humans to be going through this. That, I mean, the virus is just somewhere, and then before you know it, you're just killing humans as if we are fouls. So, what other things can we do to prevent this?
Unfortunately, like I said before, there's no vaccine. There's no tablet you can take when you get the virus and you get well. So as long as those two things are not there, we can only go to the next level of prevention, which is still those basic things that we have said. If there was a vaccine, then people could vaccinate themselves and not get it. But then have a high index of suspicion. And when you're taking care of a sick person, protect yourself. And for health workers, they should also have a very high index of suspicion. This would be a good time to revisit all the universal precautions, make sure the signposts are there, make sure every staff member understands what they should be doing at a time like this. And it's very important that we do not miss out the very little points here. The laundry people in the hospital, they'll be the people that gather the laundry to take away. So we should be mindful of such little details. So I think those are the things that health facilities should begin to look into right now to make sure that they cover all the basics, because until you get the magic bullet as a tablet you can take when you're not ill, the only thing you can do when somebody has Ebola is to manage the person in an intensive care unit, because there's a lot of loss of fluid, a lot of dehydration. So the person has to be managed and given IV fluids, both oral and intravenous, and all that. That's really what can be done. So it still goes back to prevention in the community, goes back to barrier nursing, all those kinds of things when they come to the health facility. Proper burial practices should be in place. All
right, thank you very much, Tochi. It's wonderful,
My
very illuminating. Sitting down to have this conversation with you.